Ding, ding. Welcome to another episode of Bell to Bell. Along with me, I am Jose, and with me tonight is Milton and Chad. What's going on, fellas?
Hey, Chad, are you muted?
Yes, he is.
I'm definitely muted.
Well, hey, everybody. Hey, how's everybody doing? I'm blessed. Thank you for asking, Jose. Grateful to be here with you, fellas. Uh, and truly, I appreciate y'all's time. Truly.
Yeah, man, it's good. It's good to be back. It's good to be talking about some MMA happening this weekend. And man, I'm looking forward to this card so much. Chad, how you feeling, bro?
I'm feeling good, man. Just like you said, I can't wait to get to the card this weekend. It's an exciting main card.
Yeah, dude, it's gonna be wild. It's gonna be fun. It's got a lot of things we like. It's got vets that we are excited to see back in the cage. We got freaking newcomers challenging for titles. We got up and coming new guys into the company. We got new top 15 guys trying to take some one spot. So, damn man, let's get into it. Milton, where do you want to start off, bro? Where do you want to start off tonight?
Let's, do you want to start up? What do we normally do? We start from the top or the bottom?
Usually the top.
Let's start off at the top. I mean, it's the main event of the evening. It's one of the greatest featherweights of all time. A newcomer that I believe in the last 13, 14 months has 5 UFC wins. Let's start off at the main event of the evening. Volkanovski and Diego Lopez fighting for the vacant featherweight championship.
Nice, man. Yeah, former champion does take on a new challenger. Chad, what are the odds right now in going into that matchup this weekend?
ESPN has them at they have Volk at -125, Diego at +105.
And how do y'all feel about that? Y'all feel that that's right? That Volk should be coming in as a favorite?
It tightened because I think it started off more on favor of Volk. So a lot of money's definitely been put towards Diego, which I believe is correct. I think the odds are exactly how they should be. What say y'all?
Yeah, go for it, Chad. Go for it.
I would say I would say the odds are pretty correct on this one. Um, like you said, the line closing a little bit. And I do favor Volk in this match.
Yeah, man. I like that Volk has the experience. Obviously, he's fought former champions. He was a great champion himself. So there is a lot on the line right here with this being a vacant title. He is coming off a year fresh, no fights after that brutal knockout loss to Ilia Topuria last year. So he's coming in refreshed. But we know that Diego Lopez is a young, hungry lion who's trying to, stamp his name into the legends by becoming the new champion this weekend. I mean, Milton, what do you think is Diego Lopez's like path to victory this weekend, man?
Well, watching Diego Lopez, it's he's a blitz guy, which is fair. I mean, just like Charles Oliveira, their jiu-jitsu is you're not going to really try to touch that, so they don't have the they're not going to be afraid to just march forward because what are you going to do? So, I mean, his path to victory is going to have to be to try to storm Volk because if you let it go further, not saying Diego doesn't have a gas tank. We've seen him get tired, but justfully so. Short notice against Dan Ige. He was really just round thing against Brian Ortega. So I'm not saying his gas tank is weakened, but I don't think you want to play that game with Volk. Like let's do tat for tat. Let's be calculated and all of that. Of course, be calculated, but don't let it prolong to the 4th and 5th before trying anything on. I'm assuming that would not work in his favor. So just blitz and pray that Volk is old Volk and his chin is gone. That's what I would say.
On the streak to get to this title shot, Chad, how do you feel about Diego Lopez, man? Because he's had different kind of fighters coming into him, and obviously there are some short notice fights like the Dan Ige fight, and of course, Brian Ortega gets pieced up by everybody at this point.
Yeah.
Are you like really impressed with Diego Lopez's path to like get to the title? He's only had like less than 2 years to get to this weekend.
Yeah, he was definitely rushed to the title fight. I would have liked to see him face better competition on the way up, but I mean the featherweight division, it is what it is right now. But just as far as the fight goes, yeah, man, I don't. If I if I if I watched correctly, I believe that Volk comes in and he does what everybody didn't do. He leads with leg kicks and he tires him out. And when he gets him tired, he actually finishes him. Yeah, it's easy to say he can finish him when he gets tired, but he's a veteran and we know what he can do. I mean, we can't really go off his last few fights because his competition has been so well that you can say he lost his last 3 or 4, but his competition was insane. So I feel like if he comes out and he fights kind of like, I wouldn't say just exactly how he fought Max, but in some similar way, leads with leg kicks, I believe he can make this a easy and fancy finish.
How concerned are you now about Volk's chin after the brutal trilogy with Max, after those losses to Islam and Ilya?
I mean, I'm not sure at all. I'm just as sure as anyone else. That's what I love this position for Volk. He has to come out here and like prove himself again because there's like a maybe factor. He's getting older.
Mhm.
He's had some crazy wicked fights, and his chin didn't look too good in those fights. But his, like I said, his insane competition. They're precisionists at what they do. So you can't really, say his chin isn't, what it used to be because of the competition he has faced. So this fight, I feel like this fight will show us.
It's definitely just a question, and it's a good question, Jose, just because we've seen it. But like Chad said, one's a short notice, wasn't training against Islam's shin to the head. So I mean that there's no shame in that at up a weight class. And then with Ilya not taking the proper time, which I think we all can concede, like he should have took more time before fighting Ilya Taporia, a power puncher with more speed. uh, there is no shame in getting knocked out, but being at his age, that's not a good recipe. For now, he's going up against a guy in Diego, which has a lot of power. Seems like. Uh, I to you asked Chad the question, but I want to kind of touch on it.
Go for it.
Diego moving up so quickly, I think it was warranted because remember, his first fight in the UFC was a short notice fight against Moslar Evlov. You know what I mean? And he didn't, don't get me wrong, I'm not with this weird casual take like, oh, he almost beat him. But he didn't like just get beat up and finished. Well, Evlov didn't finish anybody, but he didn't just get beat up and finish. He fought a very good fight, especially for short notice. So I could see the rise. It makes sense. I hear you on the lack of competition, but I mean, I think beating Brian Ortega the way he did, it's good enough. Because I mean, who else was going to really fight for the interim? I'm not interim, but the vacant belt. Uh, Now, I do have a question for you, fellas. When it comes to Volkan Lopez, do you see anything out of the Volkan Taporia fight that Lopez can mimic? Because I admittedly don't. I don't think they're nothing of the same. I don't think they pose the same problems, but I could be wrong. What do you guys think?
My biggest fear is that Volk's reactionary timing is going to be a lot slower than it was before. And so, like, one of the things that caught Volk that I don't think would have caught him before the Islam fight was that he went for a strike, he looked slow to recover, and then he got popped.
Right.
And so so that would be my biggest thing is that's why I brought up the question about his chin. Is like, now I'm worried is his reaction time going to be able to match, I guess, the durability of what's left of his chin at this point? And Volk has had a long, fighting career, right? Like he's 36 now. He's fought a long time, whether it was, MMA, pro boxing, whatever he did on the side before he got into the UFC and all that stuff. But that would be my biggest fear going for him. It's now up to Diego, who is the younger guy, who is fresher,
Right.
to look maybe for even an early finish.
Of course.
Because what I would say is I don't think that he can. He could, I mean, possibly right, but we haven't truly seen him go 5 rounds into a title fight. We've seen from the other fights that we've discussed before how some fighters, it's a lot different when it's a title fight, 5-round fight versus a non-title 5-round fight. So I want to see how Diego responds to it. And before we get into like predictions and stuff like that, I mean, let's just say like these are the right guys, I think, in my opinion, to get this vacant title shot. Won't be the lineal champion now until they truly defend the title, but I mean, these guys are the next 2 guys up, and then we obviously have a possible contenders match later on in the card.
One more thing before we get into predictions. With Volk, let's say Volk wins. Not guessing. None of us have anything out there on the table. Let's say Volk wins. Where does this put him in the all-time ranking? Because some people already say he's the greatest featherweight of all time. Some people still give Jose that respect. He's definitely 1 or 2, in my opinion. But where do you think he lands if he does win? Because he's also going to be breaking history. A guy that's in the lower weight class, so 155 and below in the men's division, he'll be the first guy over 35 to actually win the belt. So he's going against history. That's what he's doing as well. He's going against his chin as far as history shows and, the last 2 fights. And he's also going against history and wins.
Yep. Chad, what do you think?
I still, regardless of the fight, of the outcome, I put Volk up there. Yes, it's very arguable, but just what Volk has done, and if he gets the win and if he gets to finish, it definitely solidifies any argument that you have against him.
Yeah, I think regardless of how it goes, I agree with you, Chad. I think I might have already had him in my top 10 all time. I don't know if it changes that much for me, honestly. Could he creep into the top 5? That's a lot harder to ask because I feel like my top 5 is like the elite of the elite as far as like resumes and all that stuff. But I mean, who knows? We don't know how the second one might go, right? I mean, it might go for another 2-3 years. It might go for another 4 months, Yeah. So, so we'll see how it goes. I mean, it really depends, but I don't think it changes anything. Honestly, this fight, as far as legacy wise, isn't like gonna move the ladder for him going up or down. To be honest, I think for him, he's going into this fight knowing he needs to fight for. There's something that he needs to fight for himself. Those losing 3 of his last 4 fights for a prideful guy as he is does weigh on him a little bit. So I think there is something for him that he wants to showcase that he might be an old Volk, but he can still be the old Volk.
Right on. Okay. So I think like last time we did the preview and then the predictions, like after we went over the main, right? Or do you want to just jump right into the prediction of each?
No, we did per fight.
Say it again. Oh, per fight?
Yeah, I think we did it per fight. Like we ended that topic with the predictions, and then we moved on to the next fight.
Gotcha. All right. Well, what are y'all thinking? Chad, I already kind of heard you earlier, but tell me why and how.
Why?
And who, just in case somebody else didn't hear that.
Why? I would say because that's the experience. I do feel like Diego, this is the right moment for him. This is the right shot. He's 30. He's in his prime. But I do feel the experience of Volk will take over anything that I haven't seen in watching film. Like I said, I do believe he's going to lead with leg kicks. And I think if he does that, he will be victorious. My prediction is, I would say, let me get a round 4 finish. Okay. Round 4 finish. And let's say TKO. TKO.
Gotcha. Jose?
Man, I would hate to be the one to go against Volk, right? I love Volk.
Yeah, right.
It's tough, but I mean, the possibilities right there.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm not gonna do that. I love Volk too much. Give me Volk to win the title, his second run with it. I don't think it'll be a long run like it was his first time around. I do think that he probably will be basically a transitional champion. I do think he'll lose it within the next fight or 2. Mm-hmm. Just because, like I said, the age is going up there. And you never know, too, by the time this could be reminiscent of The name is escaping me, but remember when GSP's last welterweight fight? Who was the last guy he had to fight that
Uh,
people said won?
Oh, damn it. The guy that was a cheater, he was on steroids, and then they brought USADA in, and he looked like a piece of John. No.
He was baldy. Well, anyways, my point is
Mhm.
going into that while I look up the fight. My point is that guy defeated Robbie Lawler in a vacant title fight to become the welterweight champion, and then his first title defense was Robbie Lawler, who had won 2 fights, and then won it back. So I do think that that's a possibility that Volk wins it this Saturday. Then he gets back on the grind. He gets a title shot, within the next calendar year, and he takes it off Volk himself in the rematch, and he gets a proper transition to a new champion. I'm already predicting the future, I know, but it's Volk this weekend. I'll say 5th round TKO, and then by next year you got Diego defeating Volk for the title.
Okay. Johnny
Hendricks.
Yes. Oh, there we go. So yeah, thank you, Chad. Appreciate it. Okay. Johnny. Okay. My prediction, I have Volkanovski winning by decision. Boring, I know. Sorry. I think he's going to make it look somewhat easy as the rounds progress. I think it'll look somewhat, other than the finishing aspect of it, I think it'll look somewhat like the Volkanovski and Yair fight, just not the finishing portion of it. That's what I got.
I don't know, because the second that Yair started gaining confidence and clipped Volk, that's when Volk decided, I'm not playing games anymore. I'm going to knock you out right here and now.
Right.
So you know what? Maybe let's hope it's a Yair kind of fight, because then Volk will really be happy to hit bang. So
man, that's going to be another conversation. Volk wins the belt again. I don't think it necessarily moves him up the ladder in all-time overall MMA UFC. But I'm just mean like as a featherweight greatest of all time, do you already have Volk there, or do you still got Jose?
That's tough, because Jose has like names.
He has more
names on his. So
well, not even just name. Well, he has more title defenses. So even though it's not UFC, that ain't got nothing to do with him.
Yeah, it transitioned with the WEC.
Right.
That's all. That's only like 2 title defenses on top of what his UFC defenses. But we'll see. It all depends on how the second reign goes too.
I agree. Okay. And next, Michael Chandler. I'll just go ahead. Michael Chandler versus Paddy the Baddy Pimblett. Paddy, I was telling everybody before he made it to the UFC about Paddy the Baddy, and then he came in the UFC, and he's won every fight, but I've been very disappointed just because of the lack of progression. But hey, he's undefeated in the UFC, so it is what it is. Michael Chandler, a all-time Bellator guy, comes from Bellator, wins his first fight against Dan Hooker, and then now, like you said, he's here for a good time, not a long time. Unfortunately, took the 2-year hiatus waiting on Conor, the Notorious. Never occurred. I don't blame him, but never occurred. So
yeah, now, I do.
Now he's about to, I think at the end of the month, he's going to be 39 at lightweight. Phenomenal shape. I get it. But again, lightweight. And now you're going against a Paddy the Baddy guy that, in my opinion, if we just looked on paper, we watched both of these guys, not highlights, but just their catalog, you would say, well, Michael Chandler is just better everywhere, other than maybe pure jiu-jitsu. But I think this is more of the passing of the torch moment. Could be. Let me ask you, fellas, Jose and Chad. Well, Jose, let me ask you first. If Chandler can pull this together, because he has a somewhat of the right opponent in Paddy, which keeps his chin up in the air, what's the way, his method to victory? Like, how can you see him winning, even if you don't have him winning?
His best method probably will be trying to keep him alongside the cage, trying to limit his access to like really get into the middle, get his spacing, keep him backtracked the whole way through. one of the better things for Michael Chandler, rather than him being the one backed up, is that he can be explosive. But if he gets himself backed up, if he's the one with his back to the cage, that's when he actually tends to get more likely to get caught. So I would like him to be the veteran guy, the guy who has the most experience, who has had more of the title fights, to be the guy, the more aggressive one. I don't need him to be passive, which he's not really that kind of guy, anyways, as a fighter. But this is like, treat Patty like this is his first time in the big leagues, because in a lot of ways it really is.
Yep.
Because Patty, to be fair, has been protected by the UFC. He's been allowed to train and be coached, slowly as much as they needed to, without putting him in dangerous fights that would really risk him his undefeated record and such like that in the UFC. So treat him like, hey, now you're in the big leagues now. So I would rather Michael Chandler be the aggressive one. Obviously, don't get yourself caught with a counter punch or anything like that. But whatever. Get some dirty wrestling along the cage too. Limit his area. Make him a rookie. I think that's the best thing Chandler can do to pull off a victory, because that's one of the things he has had a hard time to do in the UFC is pull off victories. He has a win over Dan Hooker and he has a win over Tony Ferguson. And I was old Tony, like bad Tony. So it ain't a good Tony on your record. So he needs to be the big dog, even though he's a smaller guy in the cage.
And we got to remember, both of these guys, speaking of Tony Ferguson, they won, but they made us think that Tony still had something in him. Just to put that out there. This first round with Michael Chandler, Tony Ferguson arguably won it. Against Patty, looked good, especially towards the end, et cetera, et cetera. Now, Chad, same question. If you can see the path of victory for Patty the Batty against Michael Chandler, how will that look?
Without giving away too much, I would say don't be too explosive. I mean, he's not a very explosive fighter, but don't be too explosive. Don't leave too many openings for Chandler, because we all know Chandler wants to knock somebody out.
Right.
So probably the best path to victory would be to take him down on one of those explosive shots that he is going to take. And compared to the last fight, I don't really see Chandler not having a problem with that, because he was very comfortable in his last fight, just being on the ground with Charles. Yeah, it was cage rust, but this is a good spot for Chandler. Like, we're going to see, like, without the cage rust, just having a fight 6-7 months ago, we're going to see if he's still trying to, get a belt, or if he's trying to just have fun, amazing fights, which is what he said. But the path of victory I would see for Patty, don't stand too much with him, because, he's going to be looking for that explosive shot. Look for the takedown and hold him there and win the fight.
I like both your answers, because it kind of goes into what I think the best path victory for both and the limitations for one. So with Jose, like you said, cage control, cage wrestling, really wear on Patty, because this is a 5-round bout. We've seen Patty get tired, exhausted. Can he have worked on that? Of course. But the brother is big. He's big for 155. Funny enough, because he came from one, but the brother is big. We've seen him get tired. And Michael Chandler, as stupid as he fights, he doesn't really get tired. That's not his negative, I would say. But Chad, you saying like slow down the fight, same thing. Yes, I think if Patty his back control is amazing. His back control is amazing. And we saw, of course, it's Oliveira, but like you said, Chandler was okay with being on his back as long as he's not like in a finishing position or he's just chilling. And I think Patty can do the same exact thing, and that would be best for Patty, just so he doesn't gas 5 pounds. Now, what do y'all think is likely to occur in this fight? What's your money on? Either one of you.
Oh, so we're going predictions now.
That kind of did sound like a prediction thing. I really want more like a preview instead of like me questioning you on a specific fighter, how do you think this fight goes just by both guys? One guy has been getting better, but has a lackadaisical defense. His offense, Patty the Baddy's grappling has gotten better, and his grappling's very good. His offense has actually gotten better, but his defense is still not good. Chin up in the air, Scousers don't get knocked out. Fair enough, but in Michael Chandler, you'll find out very soon or later, anybody can get knocked out. Michael Chandler, better skill set, but is an idiot. So, how do you think, without I guess prediction, or if you want to just dive right into prediction, go for it. How do you think the fight actually occurs? Like, what do you think transpires?
Okay, so for me, here's how I'll say it. I'll say it's going to be a back and forth bar murder fight. I don't think it's going to be settled for one guy to dominate the whole 5 rounds or 4 or 5 rounds, anything like that. I think we'll be going into the 5th round with a tight 2-2 competition. I think it'll start with a Patty Pimlet, starting fresh, trying to catch an old guard in Michael Chandler. Michael Chandler's gonna have to D up. And after he's like down 0-2, I think that's when we start seeing the little more veteran side of Michael Chandler. Hopefully not too exhausted to keep on the fight. This is one of those fights that I do think will go maybe all 5 rounds. That it will be left up to decision, just because I don't know if Michael Chandler is going to be able to catch him for a knockout, and I don't know if Patty Pimlet's going to be able to get him into basically for me, what I think his best strategy would be is getting him on the ground and submitting him, submitting Michael Chandler. I don't know if either one will be able to do it. I think it's going to be coming down to the final seconds. So we're seeing one last takedown or one last knockdown. We'll see where it goes, but I think this is potentially your fight of the night fight.
Okay. Ooh,
it's got the potential with the 5 rounds.
Of course. Now, Chad, what do you think? It's 5 rounds. Again, you got a Scouser and you got a powerful idiot. What you think?
Well, I just realized now it's a 5-round fight. Man, you say Chandler's like he's the more skillful fighter, but we don't see him use his wrestling at all.
You got me. Yeah, you're right.
We see him just go balls to the wall,
Right.
hooks and overhands. He doesn't show it inside the cage. And Patty, it's a lot of chatter around his name, but he's very composed. He uses his technique very well inside the cage. So I think that's going to be his strength, poise. Yeah, I see Chandler trying to come out here and make an example of him. Like, did y'all really put this guy against me? And Patty's gonna use it against him. I really don't like. I'm not gonna lie. I don't like Patty as a fighter. I mean, he's just not. He's not. I don't think he's champion caliber. And but he talks like it, and the wins back it up. But I want to see him actually be tested, and I don't think this is a proper test for him. Yeah, it has value on Chandler being able to knock him out, but that's the only value. And Patty, we haven't seen Patty knocked out, so he plays it very safe, and I think that's what he's going to do here.
Okay.
What about you,
now? I mean, I see it the same way, somewhat as you, but I do see a finish occurring. Jose speaking, I see it being more of a barn burner. But if it is a barn burner, again, Michael Chandler, he either is looking for the finish or he's looking to be finished. That's him. That's Michael Chandler. Like, all right, let's do it. You got me good there. Finish me off. Please pause. You know what I mean there. Okay.
Whoa.
And yeah. And
Patty,
and Patty, if it becomes a barn burner, which his sake, I would take Chad's advice. Don't let it get to that. Don't do that. Because again, unless he fixed his chin up in the air, that's not going to be good. I don't care if he manages distance well. One clean shot for Michael Chandler, not even clean. One nice overhand or lead hook from Michael Chandler. Patty's either going to maybe not one punch knockout, but TKO. So I see it being somewhat of a process. The first 2 rounds, really, everybody's like, oh, Michael Chandler going to the wall. What's going on? And I don't think that's going to be really necessarily good for him, because I think he should do exactly what you said, Jose, on cage wrestling and try to tire him out. I don't think he'll do it because he's not the smartest guy in the cage. And I think after the third, fourth, in the third and fourth, I think that's when it'll really pick up and a finish will occur in the end of the fourth or the fifth because the action picks up. So I say that to say this: if the action picks up early, that's what
So to counter something you said earlier, again, I know Chandler is possibly looking to be finished. Now, we've seen in fights like the Gaethje fight, even Oliveira rematch, where he gets essentially dominated. That yes, he is putting himself out there, and actually, no, most of Dustin Poirier fight, he actually doesn't get finished. He actually does try to keep his survival instincts alive. So that's where I'm hoping that if he's down 0-2 against Patty, that he is looking to settle down and go back to his basics because he was, he got the early knockout on Dan Hooker, so he really didn't show no wrestling. But in the Oliveira fight, that he was trying to wrestle, and of course, there were just some bad, takedown attempts, and trying to stay on the ground with Oliveira is really risky.
Mm-hmm.
So we'll see how it goes. I mean, I am intrigued about what this fight can do, but I do think, like, early prediction, this could be fight of the night.
Right on. Real quick before we go into predictions, hey, Chad, Mama's here.
Yo.
Cody from the ninth inning shorts and was debate. I think this can be better than the last pay-per-view card. I think so, guys.
It's a more stacked lineup on paper than it was the last card was. So my hope is that it will be, but I mean the last card was fire.
It was good.
Nonetheless.
What you think, Dad?
Yeah, I think hands down.
It will be.
The implications on these fights, like the questions above the fights. Yeah, I think this fight card, this is the one for casuals and MMA diehard fans.
Okay, one more thing. The Patty the dude of O'Malley, does he fight the same way? Definitely not. They are not the same at all whatsoever. 0%. Nothing similar. Not alike.
No, right. O'Malley's a more fan favorite type of fighter.
And a pristine striker.
Yeah.
A defensively sound striker. But
which means
if you say
Patty, rematch with Marab, it ain't gonna be good.
Yeah. Somebody asked me, oh man, what do you think's gonna happen in the rematch? We'll get there, but I don't think it's gonna be good. Sorry for the casuals that love Sean O'Malley. It's not, I don't think so. One more thing. I don't know who Rashad is, but thank you for being here, brother. Make sure you like I'm assuming that's a racial joke to chat.
That's pretty racist.
And
I thought I was Rashad. No.
Oh, we're just saying. What it WEE?
I think he meant WWE.
Yeah, definitely. Well, respectfully, no. I was about to say definitely. I forgot my brother over here. Respect WWE. I'm gonna be respectful here. Okay. Hold on a minute. It's me. Am I freezing up? Dang it.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Well, go into predictions. I'll fix this.
All right, cool. Chat, I don't know what you're thinking. I do think that the judges will give it to Patty. I do, like I said, I think it goes all 5 rounds. I do think the judges will give it 48-47, or 49-46. They'll give it to Patty because he is the guy that's technically on his way up. Because I agree with you. I don't really care for the guy. I don't think that there's anything exciting about him. I don't see what I guess Dana White's been seeing that want to make him the guy. I just think that he's trying to turn him into like the male Ronda Rousey. He's hoping that this guy becomes the next superstar in the division, but I got no hope for him. But I mean, I think he does win this fight because Michael Chandler is not showing me anything.
So do you say the judges will give it to him because Michael Chandler won't be able to?
I think Patty will be the better fighter in the cage, but I do think that I don't think that right now the way everything's going, I don't think Michael Chandler is gonna give us enough show quality to say like, hey, like, sad to say, like, you're not even a top 10 guy at this point in the lightweight division.
So you're saying it's going to be a decision?
Yeah, it's weird, right? I don't like the same decisions, but I don't.
Oh, okay.
But I also don't see Patty choking out or submitting Chandler. Then it's like the only way I see him beating Chandler right now is by decision.
Okay. Okay, that's fair. That's fair. Well, as far as me, I kind of laid it out. I tried to hide it, but I got Patty winning. Um, I want Chandler to win, but just watching film, watching tape, I think Patty's gonna pull it off. Chandler has let me down too many times. I liked, his background. He's a All American wrestler, all this yada yada, Bellator veteran, but he doesn't prove anything in the cage since he's been to the UFC. And the things he says on Twitter and in interviews, it doesn't add up what I want to see from him. So
He's
yeah, I got Patty by decision too.
he's just cringier McGregor at this
Yeah,
point.
yeah.
So I missed it. Ken, you have Patty. Jose, you have who?
I got Patty in decision as well.
Okay, likewise. I have Patty by decision.
Unanimous.
So the yeah,
Okay.
I think Chandler in the fifth again, unless it gets weird. You know what? I'm gonna change it. Actually, I take it back. Patty by finish in the fifth round. I think that's when Chandler's gonna try to be fan favorite. He's gonna be down 3-1. Oh, I need a finish. All right, Patty's on my back. I'm gonna jump up and jump back down and soup. He's going to tap out by submission, fifth round.
Still
Chandler never
happening,
been
but
submitted until Dustin, but he gonna get submitted twice. Go ahead, Jose.
just so you know, it's still happening, Milton.
Damn it! All right, well, move on, guys. I'll be back. Jeez.
Reboot the router. Just reboot the router. We'll be here. We'll be here. We won't go fully to the next combo. Chad, let's go sideways.
Okay, work with me.
Let's talk about those fights that we posted on the chat. Let's talk
Okay.
about Merab O'Malley too. How excited are you about O'Malley getting the immediate rematch without actually earning it?
After I did a little digging, after the digging, it made me a little more excited for the simple fact I didn't know O'Malley had so many injuries before his fight. Yeah, I know we can say excuses this, excuses that, but that just leaves us to question more. And yeah, we know how the last fight turned out. O'Malley did win 2 rounds, outhandedly, and so did Merab. And it was just one round where it was kind of close. Everybody was saying who won this and who won it, but every judge had the same scorecard for 2 rounds for each of them.
Yep.
And it was just one round that was out of reach for O'Malley in the judges' favor. But excitement level, give me about a 9.5 out of 10, just because I want to see O'Malley come back and put it on him. I don't think it's going to happen per se, but just like any other fan who loves striking, I want to see O'Malley come in there and strike with him. Now, if he does beat him, that's what I'm so excited about. How far can he take his title run? But what do you think about the fight? Excitement level.
So excitement level, I would say I'm probably more like a 6 out of 10. Just because it's like I like O'Malley. I think he's a fun fighter to watch and stuff like that. But I don't think that their styles is like makes me want to jump out and want to pay for this card. You get what I mean?
Yeah.
And because remember, I think if I'm not mistaken, the last time they fought, they were the co-main event. I think in this situation now they'll be the main event. And so I don't know. It's a 6 out of 10 for me. I don't like that O'Malley's getting the immediate rematch without getting a fight first because we already saw Merab fight. And I get it. You said that O'Malley was coming off injuries with that stuff. I hate that logic because we know that Aljamain Sterling has been fighting with injuries and he never got an immediate rematch. And he was a longer, better reigning champion than Sugar Sean O'Malley was. And he never got that rematch back
that's very fair.
That Sean's getting right now.
Yeah.
Sean O'Malley doesn't deserve anything. I agree. That's all I heard, and I agree. By the way. Okay. Am I better?
It looks better. It sounds better now.
Actually,
yeah.
Okay. Goodness gracious. Sorry.
Gotta reboot the router before we start the pod, bro. That's all it is.
Golly. All right. Yeah, you got me. All right. Are we gonna move on, or were
Yeah,
y'all talking about
let's move
something?
on. We were just we just sideswiped to talk about the fight announcement of Marab O'Malley 2. We both agree. Well, he's more excited about the fight than I am, but it'll definitely be something more to really talk into once we're into that preview show.
Gotcha. Yeah, I can't wait. Real quick, Cody became a huge fan of Marab. I was so happy because people don't like the wrestling and all that,
Yeah.
but Marab is the machine. There's no
But
quit in.
you know why? Talk about wrestling. Let's do a promo right now because somebody on this channel said it's all about the Y'all Father, and Marab said, "Nah. It's about me. It's about me. I stole your jacket. I stole your belt. It's my time."
I had a fair, reason why I had Umar. Come on, man. All right, well, whatever. Okay, I was wrong. Father's plan, not yet, but it'll coming soon. Okay, all right, let's move on. Yair going against the Bellator legend. If you don't know, on you turn that. I'm just kidding. I was gonna say turn it off. Don't do that. I was just kidding. For UFC fans, they have no clue who Patricio Pitbull is. They have no idea who the Pitbull brothers are. Zero clue, but hey, he's here now. It's late in his career, but he's here. And at least he's not a deteriorated, version of himself. Is he the prime Pitbull? No, but here he is, and he's going against Yair Rodriguez for his UFC debut. Fellas, I can't lie to you. This fight on the main card, well, all of them, really, but this is the one that I'm been looking so much into because I don't know what to expect. Fella, tell me how you would break this fight down. How would you preview this? Please help me out because I was losing sleep over this fight.
Imagine Justin Gaethje versus Max Holloway's final 10 seconds for the entire 3 rounds. That's what I'm going to go with. Now, does that sound crazy? Does that say that this might be a fight of the night? Of course it does. But it has the potential. These guys are crazy. They're going to be striking. They're going to be battling it out. They can get to the ground anytime they want to and just throw some fisticuffs. They don't even believe in the submissions. That ain't going to happen. Just believe that they're going to try to kill each other the best they can. Yeah, you're going to try to stand tall, try to use that height advantage over Pitbull, but it might not work because Pitbull has fought big guys in Bellator. He's always been the smaller guy, and he's done it in 2 different divisions. He is starting out this UFC run in the lighter division, right, with the featherweight. So we can see an explosive Pitbull at what is it? Is he 39, 38? He's not exactly, he's not young. He's older than Volk. So, I mean, this is going to be a really exciting fight. Give me a knockout finish, and I'll tell you who that is later on.
37. Okay, 37. Just to
37.
make sure, I think he was 37, which
is
crazy.
Still older than Volk. Still older than Volk.
Older than Volk. Chad, tell me, preview this fight for me without saying a winner. Tell me how you think also this might go.
How does Dana White label them? Fights you should watch. This is going to be one of them for sure.
Yeah,
this is going to be one. Why? Because we're going to see exactly what happens when Bellator comes to UFC at 37 years old. That's why.
Chill, dude. Chill. Okay. Well, I second both of you because the main thing, the consensus is this is going to be one of the fights of the night. Short and sweet, long and strong. Pause. Doesn't matter. It's going to be some. Out of the somebody's going to get 50 G's out of this fight, and I'm here for it. Pitbull is a legend. I've been watching him for years, and I've been saying he needs to come to the UFC. Stop wasting your time at Bellator. He now is here. It's late, and he is going up against one of his probably strongest competition, funny enough. But yeah, before I go into it, I mean, I probably won't agree with Chad, but there is levels. Bellator is not UFC level. So, but can't wait nonetheless. Now, fellas, if Pitbull scenario before we go into predictions. If Pitbull wins, how how quick do you see the UFC moving him
He's
towards
getting a
a
title shot.
title?
He's getting a title
Oh,
shot immediately.
oh okay. All right.
Yeah,
If he does win, what, right?
he does. I mean,
I say depending on how he wins. Depending on how he wins.
if it's decision, maybe not. Right? If it's a boring fight, maybe not. But we know that that's not his style. We know that that's not even Yair's style. So we know that that's most likely unlikely to happen. So before we go into the predictions, I did want to say with Patricio Pitbull, I don't mind that he is going to be, I guess, envisioned as the guy with the he now he's not the big fish in the small pond. Now he's a little fish in a big pond.
Mm-hmm.
I think he's ready for this. I mean, it's just how high do you evaluate Yair Rodriguez, right? Because maybe a lot of people felt the same way when Michael Venom Page came into the UFC. And Michael Venom Page has obviously he already lost a fight in the UFC, but he's got some impressive wins with what was it with Kevin Holland and most recently with
Shara,
yeah, it
Shara
was
Bullet,
Char Bullet. And
pirate,
so
the pirate. Mm-hmm.
yeah, so I mean that alone shows you that yes, these guys have been fighting the big leagues longer. That doesn't ultimately mean that you're even are that much better because what at least what Patricia Biffpool has over Michael Venom Page that he has been the star of his division. He has been the champion. He has been the guy. Michael Venom Page never got that. Never was good enough to do that in his own company in Bellator.
Mm-hmm.
We saw that he got knocked out when he got the title shot, and it was not a good fight. It was, or not for him at least. It was a very bad night for him. So he definitely had a long way to move up. Batista Biffle at 37, he's crisp, he's clean, he knows what to do. He's fought tall guys like AJ McKee. He knows how it get done. He's beaten Michael Chandler. He's knocked him out too,
Mm-hmm.
sending him out of the Bellator. And so, as much as we might want to say like, hey, now this is going to be a bigger competition, I don't think Yair's that much slightly bigger or that much scary than what it would be like going off to face, in his first fight, Ilya or Volk or Max and something like that. I think there's tiers to right now where Yair is, and he's like in tier 3, while the top guys are tier 1. I think this is a perfect starter fight for Pitbull in the UFC.
Yeah, I agree with the latter. It's a perfect fight just because Yair's talent is. I mean, we can't say it's not there. That his talent is world world class level. Reason, hence why he had at least fought for the interim belt and the actual real belt. It's just when Yair becomes the nail, as we've seen, he has a little quit in him. That's all I'm saying. I ain't saying he's a quitter, but he got a little quit in him. We've seen it multiple times, and we know historically Pitbull is a guy that's just going to go for it and try to play bully. That's exactly what he's going to do. That could work against him. Don't get me wrong, but I think it's a perfect matchup for him to see if he does have what it takes to be in a title fight or a title elimination fight. Now, all that to say, to get into this, where are you leaning?
Child, let you go first, bro.
I'm leaning with the odds makers, man. Um, just for the simple fact, based off his last fight, Patricio, yeah, he got the win, but he got touched a lot during that fight. And I think Yair is going to do the same thing this fight. He's more of a volume striker than Patricio.
Mm-hmm.
I do see Patricio coming forward, keeping Yair on his back foot. So that'll be interesting to see. But I do think Yair finds his shots because that's what he's known to do. Um, I do agree with you, Milton. I think this is his best competition that he has faced so far. But I mean, that's easy to say because Yair has been facing UFC competitors this whole time.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but yeah, I'm going with the odds makers. Give me a late finish because Patricio he's known to get tired later. Um, Yair can too, but he's gonna be on his back foot. So he's going. I feel like he's gonna be a little more calm this fight and just wait for the shot to come to him. So yeah, give me a third round finish.
Okay. I'll give it to you, Jose. Real quick though, whenever I say, because I agree, this is, I'll say, one of his best as far as competition. Because AJ McKee, I think if he was in the UFC, he would be a challenger as well.
Fair.
But go right ahead, Jose. Tell me where you leaning, why, and how.
Give me a surprise second round finish for Pitbull, Patricio Pitbull over Yair. Look, I like Yair. He's a good fighter, but every time, yes, he has fought UFC caliber guys, but sadly, he's 0-4 against top UFC caliber guys. I'm talking about Volkanovski, Max Holloway. I don't give him technically the win over Brian Ortega because it was a freak shoulder injury that happened way too early. And then we saw in the rematch that it was just what happened to Yair? What happened to the guy who had challenged for the title, who had gotten his way up? And then the second, we know Brian Ortega's respectfully a mid guy in the top of the 10, featherweight division. He's mid. He's not a true champion caliber contender. So I don't have the confidence in Yair. I think he's kind of the guy that's gonna be the gatekeeper of the division. You beat him, that means you're a lot more closer to a title fight than before. But I just don't see it being that intimidating for a guy like Patricio Pitbull, who has fought in in his league, right? Higher competition. So I do see Yair struggling, and I do see Patricio getting the, finish in the second round.
Okay, well, y'all are at odds. I like that. I'll say Yair, if he fought a bunch of guys that were stand-up fighters, we would have a bit more, reverence for him. Because as a stand-up fighter, strictly striking, he's one of the best in mixed martial arts. But this is not kickboxing. This is mixed martial arts. Anybody that can mix it up, especially at a high level, tends to give Yair problems. In the Brian Ortega, the second fight, sure, he almost finished Brian Ortega. Almost everybody does. But then he gets tired. And again, the little quit just kind of shows, just peeks out a little bit. I think the same thing happened in the fight. I think he has a very good first round. But Pitbull weathers whatever kind of storm it is, big, small, drop, knockdown, stun.
The UFC nerves.
Yeah. Well, yeah, just that portion of it. I think he weathers that, and he wears on Yair with a third round. I say third round TKO.
Nice.
Wow.
I'm not mad at you, Chad. I'm not mad at you because Yair, this could go south real quick. Yair is bigger than him. Again, probably 1 to 3 as far as competition Pitbull's ever faced. And I could see body shots just hurting Pitbull, and Pitbull putting himself in a bad position, gets AJ McKeed instead of choked out, just gets hurt. So I could see it, but I just don't think Yair's the guy to do it.
So are y'all putting Patricio, like his skill set, up there with the top of the division?
Yeah.
Matchups. I say matchups. I think if Pitbull fights Ilya, which he's not, I don't see that ending well for Patricio. I think he really wants to fight Volk. This is the perfect time. Both of them are older, so kudos. But Pitbull against even guys that aren't going to be fighting for the title, Arnold Allen, Evolov, even Aljamain. I think those guys present different problems to Pitbull, but not Yair. Not as much of a problem as Yair.
That's fair.
As them.
Yeah.
That's all.
I think obviously if Pitbull wins, he enters the top 5 quickly, right? Because that's where Yair is. He's ranked 5, so he's right there with Evolov, and then right behind Holloway and all those guys. But unless it's Evolov, none of those guys above him is going to get an immediate title shot. So it's just going to be either Evolov, who might not be Dana's cup of tea to give the title fight right away to.
Has to be not his cup of tea, because it makes no sense. It makes no sense for this brother not to get Diego Lopez fighting for the belt. Who beat Diego? I don't know. And never lost since then. I don't know.
Short notice, Milton.
Now I'm just saying, it's you could definitely tell because he hasn't lost. He beat Diego, but he's boring. And he
But
sometimes is.
but Dana history, Dana White history, Dana White privilege says
Yeah, right.
new fresh meat sometimes gets the the
Of
express
course.
pass to the title shot.
I ain't mad at it, but yeah, arrest. Now, Mr. Flat Earth and the Barker. He's barking up the wrong tree. Huh? That was the best line Bryce has ever said. All right. He was getting kind of cooked a little bit. He said, "You're barking up the wrong tree, mother." That was funny. But yeah, Bryce Mitchell that, thinks Hitler's not a bad guy, not a terrible guy. I would have a drink with Hitler. All right. Now, okay, moving on. Going up against the fighting nerd, John Silva. John Silva's on a 5-fight win streak, a 4-fight knockout streak, something like that, something wild like that. And then we got Bryce Mitchell coming off of a win against a guy that shouldn't be in the UFC, Crone Gracie. And then before that, getting sent to the Shadow Realm by Josh Emmett's overhand, which was unfortunate. But matchup-wise, I mean, I think momentum and casual fans and what the weigh-ins are going, the ceremonial, well, not the press conference is going to bring. This is going to be the fight that everybody's going to want to see, because John Silva, we already saw the pre-press conference. John Silva, Bryce just going at it. You're not Lord, but that kind of stuff. So I think this is going to be a exciting fight for however long it lasts. I think that both of these guys have something to prove. Either, okay, John Silva from the Fighting Nerds is the real deal. He is a featherweight contender. He's going to make his way one more fight or one more fight and title elimination fight. And then Bryce really has to set the record like, I can definitely still be a contender in this weight class. So I think both of these guys have a perfect story for win or loss, but both of them need a win. How do y'all guys preview this fight? What are you looking forward to without, of course, announcing a winner? Chad, please talk to me.
I'm looking for a good fight, man, because this is one of those stylistic fights that, Bryce is a grappler. He's one that's wants to get to the ground. His stand-up is trash, let's just say it. And then you got Jean on the backhand, who is surging forward with the Fighting Nerds. And I don't know if the casuals seen it, but he has had a few fights in the UFC that you can see the path to victories for Bryce, but you can also see the path to victory for John, because Bryce, his stand-up is just levels to it when it comes to this bout. Yeah, I'm excited for this one, though. What about you, Jose?
I mean, so for me, I'm looking forward to it. Just because I know these guys already hate each other, and sometimes that does makes up to being an exciting fight, potentially also being a very boring fight. But I'm hoping this card it's not going to be that case, right?
Yeah.
Especially with the Fighting Nerd, we've seen how their rise has been going on in the UFC. Jean Silva is undefeated in the UFC, right? He's 13-2, I think, overall record, but he's undefeated in the UFC itself. Bryce Mitchell's going up and down right now as far as trading wins and losses. And honestly, if he didn't just wake up in the middle of his last fight and say, you know what, I'm just better than you, that fight could have gone, to the L racket as well. But I'm not excited about Bryce Mitchell, to be honest with you. He's a prelim guy. He's he's on the main card for his controversies. He's not on here because he actually deserves it. He's a token piece. He's a sacrificial lamb for Jean Silva and the Fighting Nerds. So I think you already know what my answer is going to be as far as who wins. But I mean, I don't think Bryce Mitchell's in this real top tier league. I think he's just going to be here to be a punching bag, to be honest with you. And he might get submitted. I mean, he might. A lot of things might happen in this fight.
He might get. Well, I could hear where you're leaning.
You know what? I don't want to hear the doubt on me, because some of us said that Jalen Turner wasn't going to quit, And I said, you know what? But Jalen Turner's Jalen Turner.
Yeah.
And he quit himself out of the freaking competition
Out
forever.
of the
So,
UFC. Yeah. This is your traditional striker versus grappler match. But again, now it has bad blood. And like we've seen with Manal Kopp and Muhammad, I forgot what his name was. He got out the UFC. Bad blood doesn't mean much. So you say this can become one of those fights where these guys are just staring at each other and not doing a thing. I doubt it because, again, John Silva's not that guy. And Bryce Mitchell, he's very aggressive as far as with the takedown. So I doubt that happens, but it's your traditional matchup, grappler versus striker. And I think that's exactly what it come down. Bryce to done. If it's a grab, if he can grab a hold of John Silva, I also saw John Silva against Charles Jourdain, and Charles Jourdain's not a grappler, and Charles Jourdain took him down 3-4 times. So the difference is Bryce Mitchell's not going to let you get up. I ain't saying he's going to finish him. I think John Silva is competent in the jiu-jitsu game and staying safe, but you're not getting up against Bryce Mitchell. He is a wet blanket. He's Arkansas's finest wrestler, that kind of stuff. But also, if Bryce Mitchell can't get the takedowns, or if he's constantly crotch sniffing, shooting for nothing, well, John Silva's going to make him pay a couple times, and we've seen that for Bryce Mitchell. I will give Bryce Mitchell this: people are questioning his chin. He got knocked out by probably the hardest hitting featherweight in UFC history in Josh Emmett, one punch power, and arguably 1 and 2 by Ilia Topuria. So yeah, I'm not going to question his chin. I think his chin is fine. I do recall Bryce Mitchell whenever taking down Ilia Topuria, which has much better grappling than John Silva, holding Ilia Topuria down for a good amount of time. I'll just say that. So I think matchup wise, I actually like the matchup. I think Bryce Mitchell should be on the main card, at least for this matchup. Don't put when they put Bryce Mitchell and Crone Gracie on the main card. Yeah, I was against it as well. That just not just because of Bryce, but just it has to make sense for Bryce to be on the main card. I concede that for sure. Now, Jose, I'll give it to you first because I already know who you're going to pick, but I want to hear more disrespect. Bryce Mitchell against John Silva. Give me your predictions, brother, please.
First round knockout. Let's just go straight into it. Whoa. First round knockout. Look, yeah, man. I mean, look. It doesn't have to be pretty. It doesn't have to be like, oh, we're finding out how sexy this. Look, I'm gonna play crazy too. Give me the 343 mark. I'm just gonna go around that number. 343. 3 minutes 43 seconds into the first round. I think good old John Silva just goes ahead and finishes up Bryce Mitchell. I think Bryce Mitchell gets overzealous early on. He gets caught, then he has to fight on his heel the rest of the way, and it just doesn't end well for him. Because guess what? John Silva's, once the press conferences, the weigh-ins and all that stuff, he's gonna keep pushing Bryce Mitchell's buttons. And to be honest, Bryce Mitchell's buttons are really easy to push. So once that cage closes and the ref says fight, he might, his game plan might be just trying to kill John Silva before he gets caught. So I'm going in. This is a mental battle going into this one.
Okay, Chad, what you think? Give me a prediction,
That's
brother.
Fair.
Yeah, it is fair for sure. I could totally see it going exactly that way.
But yeah, I don't see it happening early. Prediction off top, I'm gonna give it to John Silva. Let's say a late second round finish. I believe just because of his fighting camp and what they've proven they've been able to do, they're gonna find a way to find him. And I feel like Bryce is gonna get tired of just trying to take him down all the time because we know Bryce's stand up is shit. I feel like second round it's gonna be like, oh, it's not working, but he's still gonna be shooting, and John is gonna probably come with an uppercut or a knee, and it's just like Ilya or Emmett is gonna be that one punch that just flattens him because that's what he's known for.
Wow. Well, John Silva's not a one punch. He's a one punch. I'm a hurt. He's stunned, but he's not a. I'm gonna put you out with one punch like those two. That's kind of fair. again, if Bryce Mitchell really doesn't have a chin against power punchers, then yeah, you'll be right. But I do recall, because I'm not arguing that Bryce Mitchell's stand-up is good. I'm saying it's not shite, like you said, because remember, he did stand with, I know grappling is different, with Edson Barbosa, and he TKO'd Edson Barbosa on the feet. I'm just saying.
Which Edson did he get? Which Edson did he get?
Sunken down. I don't know how he makes 145. I don't know how he made one.
Thank you.
I'm just saying. The facts are the facts. We don't have to get into context. I love context, but not right now. Okay.
Now when it's leading your favor for your conversation, right? Yeah.
No context right now. Okay, let's leave that out. But I think y'all are getting the gist of where I'm going. Okay, I understand.
No.
Yes, I'm doing it. I understand, Jose. Your point is very straightforward, very blunt, and it could happen. Chad, your point is more applicable. I think it can actually happen more truly, not as blunt, but more likely. To put money on it, I think it'll be the more favorited odds, second round TKO, KO, something like that. I'm going all the way opposite, though, guys. I'm thinking I've seen Bryce Mitchell wrestle a lot of different individuals bigger than John Silva, with better grappling than John Silva, and control them on the floor. Now, of course, if he can't get the takedown, then y'all are going to be right. But I think John Silva, the one thing that Bryce Mitchell does well, John Silva has not been truly tested. That's where I'm going with this. So I'm going to lean on that. I'm going to lean on the only Lord. All right. I'm going to lean on the only Lord, not this guy, because guess what? Bryce Mitchell said something true. This guy's not Lord. All right. This guy's not Lord. And I'm going against that guy. So Bryce Mitchell by decision.
Wow.
Yeah, I did it. I did it. Hey, I think he's like plus 400. Everybody watching, you degenerates. Bet the house. Don't bet the house. Okay. No. Let me take that back. I got it real animated.
Don't bet
bets. Bet a couple dollars. You win plus 400. All right. Plus 400. You put 100 up, put 100 down, you get 400 back. If you want to go 20,
he's a plus 210, Milton. He's a
plus 210. Ah, damn. All right. Don't bet it. It's not a good bet. It was at plus 400. I should have made a video before this. That's where I should have did. But I'm still going Bryce Mitchell. And there's a reason why it's plus 210, because more money's going towards it. More people are thinking what I'm thinking. All right. But yeah, I'm going Bryce Mitchell by decision. John Silva maybe wins the first round and then gets wet blanketed. People are booing because everybody hates Bryce now, which they shouldn't hate him. But
when did they not hate him?
No, I remember he was a fan favorite. They're like camo shorts, and then he got a podcast, and that's where it went down. He got a podcast. You don't give a guy that believes
never get a podcast. Don't believe the Earth is flat. Don't support Hitler, and
he's it is what it is. I don't agree with the brother, but I'll tell you one thing: he brings that Holy Bible in that cage. I'm praising him.
Okay, la canción.
Bryce Mitchell by decision. Maybe no, just decision. Decision's good.
Well, don't bet against the fighting nerds, because apparently it doesn't matter. Doesn't matter who they fight. Doesn't matter how high the competition are. They end up winning nonetheless. So
I disagree. I disagree. The big guys, sure, but remember, Marie Bueno Silva's a fighting nerd. She absolutely sucks. There's a couple fighting nerds that aren't as prominent, like Caio Barhalio, Prates, John Silva, that absolutely suck. All right, don't fall into it, fellas. They got the glasses, I'm going for them. Don't do it unless they smoke cigarettes.
Put your glasses on, sunglasses. Don't be believing in that tariff hype along Bryce Mitchell. All right.
Oh my god.
Made it political. All
right. Oh, because Bryce Mitchell does it, right? Okay.
Okay. All right. Okay. That was good. But yeah, I do stand on it. I think Bryce wins by decision. Don't get me wrong. This fight specifically, if you two are right, don't kill me for it. I could totally see it going y'all's way. But I just have a feeling. Dude, that John Silva's gonna think everything's sweet. the way that he even stands up, the single leg is right there. The single's right there. And Bryce is going to grab that leg and hold for dear life. And eventually he's going to get his back to the mat. And John Silva is not getting up. Not by finish, but just not getting up. That round is his. That's all. All right. The first. Go ahead.
I was going to say, if you really want to see a nice, exciting fight, let's definitely go into the light heavyweight fight because someone's going to get finished.
100%. Go ahead. Lead it.
All right. So we got, of course, our guy, Nikita Krylov versus the resurging Dominic Reyes. Obviously, these guys are trying to get into the title shot picture. Honestly, it's a short list when it comes to the light heavyweight division. We know that most likely Alex Pereira will get his immediate rematch with the champion. Jesus Christ, I was going to say Marab, but that's not. Marab's not in the 205 division with Magomed Ankalaev. So that might be the future for the UFC light heavyweight division. So it's wide open. I know that Giddy's trying to politically find his way in to a title shot after that, most likely. But I think he needs one more win to really get himself there. So with Krylov, with Reyes, I do see these guys going to make it a stand-up game. I do see it being a really short fight. Maybe up to early second, at the latest. But other than that, I see someone falling very quickly. What about you, Milton?
Same thing. I will say if the betting line is, if there's a betting line for over 1.5, if it's good odds, as far as like you'll win money, I would totally bet it just because it could get to that point. Just because I do see a finish easily. Nikita Krylov, Steve, sure, more well-rounded. Also, he could apply submissions. I don't think he'll sub Dominic Reyes though, and I think it will stay on the feet. But he's also been out 2 years for I have no idea why. He won his last fight. He's been out 2 years, so now you get a like you said, a surging Dominic Reyes. Still no chin, but a surging Dominic Reyes nonetheless. So now I think if we asked this 2 years ago or a year and a half ago, I think it would be an easy answer on who's going to win. But now it's more up in the air, which I love for a first fight of the main card. So definitely a finish and fireworks nonetheless. Chad?
Yeah, I'm in agreement with you guys. This is going to be a barn burner from the bell. I really don't know exactly how it's going to go, but I know it's going to stay standing. I know these guys are some big punchers. I'm kind of weary of Krylov because, as you mentioned, Milton, he's been off for 2 years, but we know what he can do inside the cage. He has 16 submissions wins by submission, but we got to think that Reyes, he has no losses by submission, so we know exactly what they're going to come to do. They're going to come to stand and bang. So this is a perfect way to start the main card.
Yeah, and I mean, I do think that the second we get an instant pop, somebody's gonna change their game plan real quick and pretend they're GSP. So we'll see how it goes. I mean, make it real quick. I do think that it will be. I will think Krylov keeps his win streak alive. I think he'll make it 4 straight. Just because he was ready to fight in November, but his opponent backed out. So that was the one thing too. So he's kind of just now he's been the one that's kind of just waiting, hoping to get back into the cage show. And like we said, honestly, like with Dominic Reyes' 2-fight win streak, that weird fight with Anthony Smith, who had just lost his friend, who wasn't even emotionally there in the cage. I mean, he wasn't he was there physically, but he just really wasn't. So I don't really give that too much credit, but it is 2 fights in a row for Dominic Reyes, so he has a lot of confidence in him right now. But give me Krylov to go ahead and get this one.
I'll go next. I'll say, well, I agree. I think Krylov gets it done. I'm pissed off that he took 2 years off. I get it. Like he should have fought earlier, but taking 2 years off makes this messy. Makes it super messy. It would be an easy bet. Like Krylov's gonna win. Krylov is the more well-rounded fighter. Even if he gets hurt, he can take Dominic Reyes down. Again, I agree. Chad, he's probably not. His submissions are great, but he's probably not going to sub Reyes. But still, a win is a win, right? Or getting a TKO on the mat, still a TKO. But I just because of the 2 years, I'm a little weary of it. But I still think Nikita Krylov is just a better overall mixed martial artist and has a better chin than Dominic Reyes. But Dominic Reyes wins, I'd be so happy. That's good for him. It would be a good story for him. But Nikita Krylov, second round, TKO or KO. It's KO. Let's make it sexy. So that's what we'll do.
You said what round?
Second round.
Second round. And you, Jose?
I said they could go as far as early second round, but give me mid to late first round.
Okay.
What you think,
Well,
Chad?
I got a hot take. I think that Dominic Reyes has snapped back to 2020 John Jones form, and he's finna go on a tear.
Okay.
Mark my words. Krylov, he's taking too much time off. He's a super good fighter, but he lost to like prime years of his career taking time off right now. He's 33 now. Yes, Dominic Reyes is older, 35, but I feel like in the heavier divisions, like the age, it doesn't mean as much because they still have that power and that technique. I do believe Dominic is going to be able to put it on him. He lands more strikes per minute by a whole strike. I do believe that's going to play a factor into this fight, and I think that's how he's going to get it done. I don't think Krylov is going to make actually land too many punches this fight. I'm not. Yeah, I don't. I think Dominic Reyes is going to come in slick, and he's going to end it. I wouldn't say too early, but I would say, yeah, give me a second round finish. And just to touch on what we were saying earlier, the over 1.5 rounds is minus 135 and the under is plus 105. So I could see what the odd makers are saying towards the end of the second round. Usually when bigger guys get tired, I can see Reyes. Yeah, I can see Reyes finishing.
Hey,
Well, at least you're consistent because if Dominic wins, it's going to be because Krylov didn't land many shots. So that's a consistent take for sure.
I don't know, man. Ever since basically Krylov got deported out of Mother Ukraine to Mother Russia, I don't know, man. Maybe he's become a new super soldier for them. I don't know. I'm just saying.
Whoa. Okay.
I'm just saying. Y'all didn't know that he actually got. Never, I'm not
I didn't know that. Yeah. What?
he chose Putin over his own people. Okay, I'm just saying.
Did he really?
Yeah,
really.
Yeah, he lives in, yeah.
Well, Chad, he's definitely going to win now. So that made it bad. Oh, just kidding. Just kidding. We're with
super soldiers.
Yeah.
They wrestle bears.
That's something else. All right, right in there. Okay,
that's what I've been saying about Islam and
Khabib
all the time.
Shut your freaking mouth. All right, you watch your freak. Dagestan's different. It's not.
Yeah, because Putin doesn't make
a call.
Mountains. Because Putin doesn't make a call. Okay.
Yes.
All right.
Yes. That's true. This is true. Hey, with Dominic Reyes, one, everybody here agrees when he fought John Jones, which I had John Jones winning like beforehand and was happy that he won. Everybody that watched the fight and watched it back, because I watched it multiple times, Dominic Reyes won that fight.
Yeah, I could definitely see him being edged out for sure.
He won the first three, so
but it's just like the Johnny Hendricks GSP fight, right? Because they did the same thing with them. So it's just more like, and in this case, the judges, their excuses. I'm not saying it's valid, but their excuse was that you didn't truly beat the champion in the end. So
that was when that narrative, because some people will still continue that. It's like, oh, well, you got to beat the champ. It's like, no, you don't. You have to win 3 rounds. That's what you have to do. But yeah, okay, just to make it sure, I just wanted to go. But ever since that, what do you think caused the downfall of Dominic Reyes? Again, he can if Chad's right, he can make a resurgence back to the title or title elimination because light heavyweight, other than Magomed and Alex, absolutely kind of suck. So, respectfully, what do you think caused the downfall of Dominic Reyes?
Chad, you got something to say? You sound like
I think it's the aggression from the fight, from the John Jones fight. He went out there, he left. Like maybe when he was in camp, he was, oh, I got to do this, I got to do that. But once he actually stepped in the cage, he probably got PTSD after watching the fight, because I believe he won that fight. I mean, I don't care what the narratives were. You didn't actually beat the champ. He beat John Jones up the first 3 rounds,
Right.
and I believe he honed the aggression, and I feel like he's going to turn around. I agree with you what you said earlier, Milton. I don't think the Anthony Smith fight was a
Yeah.
good test on that, because
Yeah.
Anthony Smith. So yeah, I believe it was the anger from the fight, and he took it into the other fights. But I mean, his competition was pretty good too. I mean, he fought Jan for the belt after, I believe it was interim. Um, and he lost to a knockout. I mean, all of
Yep.
his losses were knockouts. That's what I can say. Maybe it was the aggression from the fight, but after maybe one or two knockouts, the third one is kind of. But he's brought it back, so I think he's going to keep it going.
so. It was for the vacant title. It was after I guess Jones
Vacant, yeah.
had
Yep.
left.
Yeah. After that,
Uh,
remember that famous body kick? Jan landed that body kick, and it was a wild welt on Dominic Reyes, and eventually got knocked out. But go ahead, Jose. Sorry, interrupt.
no, I was gonna say I think for me it's just that he just let John Jones take his mind. It's just like he never let the loss go down. Like
Mm-hmm.
he never truly absorbed it and said, "Well, duh, I won. Let me go ahead and just prove it to y'all once again." He
Right.
just in his head, he like you said, Chad. He trained the hardest he had ever trained. He prepared himself to the T to fight the arguably the greatest all time MMA fighter in the cage. He did, he went out there. He did everything that he had trained for, everything right. He won 3-4 rounds, however you want to score the card. Um, and the judges didn't give it to him, and it's so deflating because you were right there, Milton. I mean, Chad, you too. What happened to Matt Ryan after they lost 328 lead?
Right.
Matt Ryan was never the same again, honestly, on the football field going forward. So that haunts you down. Like you could be arguably the best quarterback in that division. I mean, I know Drew Brees was still there, but like it still haunts you because
Mm-hmm.
you did everything right that year, that training camp. And when you're finally there, it all vanished and it got taken away. And I just think for those 3 consecutive fights after the Jones loss, it was just I beat John Jones. I'm still reliving that fight. I beat John
Right.
Jones. I'm still reliving that fight, and it just kept going. And I think it just by the time he took that nearly 2-year break before he beat Dustin Jacoby, it was finally like he finally cleansed himself from that loss. But there's no way of knowing for sure if he's back because of the Anthony Smith fight.
Right.
If he can pull off what Chad said, then maybe we got a real conversation going on moving forward.
Mm-hmm. And it's unfortunate for him because I agree, and I think that should be the narrative. But because Krylov took 2 years off, let's say Dominic Reyes does win, people are still gonna somewhat rightfully so, but I think it wouldn't be like, oh, we still don't know. Krylov took 2 years off. That's not the same Krylov. That kind of conversation is gonna be had. So it hopefully that kind of, the only reason I say that is just because I don't want that to get to Dominic Reyes. I hope none of the outside chatter gets to him anymore. Hopefully he learned his lesson from the John Jones fiasco. But yeah, I hope the best for him. If he wins this fight, I will be fine to be wrong because again, the story would be a beautiful one. And I would be there for it. And again, this is the perfect time to do it, as long as he doesn't fight the top two. The top two, I think, are just really bad for him. I just think are really bad for him. But other than that, hey, he if he goes against Jan again, that could happen. Jan's 40, so that could be well for him. Anybody else, he'll be fine. But
Saying
okay.
saying just quick second. saying that he comes out here and he gets an early finish on Krylov, do you think he could actually make a run for the belt? That's
No,
if Alex eventually moves up.
I don't think so. Just because while yes, he could beat a deflated Jan, doesn't mean he'll beat Oberg or he'll
Yeah.
beat Prochaska. Prochaska is not obviously Milton's favorite fighter, but
Well,
he
he's a stupid guy. Oh, go ahead. Sorry.
let him live his samurai
Yeah.
life. but
Uh,
uh, but you know, I think that there is a lot tougher competition, and sadly, with Krylov's history, unless like he's really taking these 2 years off to really hone his skills, I think that there's still too much of a wide gap for him between him and the top four guys. So it's gonna be, and if you can't get past one of them, you'll never get the title shot with Magomed. And I think, if I'm not mistaken, Krylov and Magomed have already fought once upon a time, and I think Magomed took care of
oh
him.
yeah, yeah. Beat him up on the mat too.
And of course, Magomed's only gotten better over that time since that fight. So it's, I just don't
Yeah.
know. I don't think Krylov's really, unless like these last 2 years, like I said, has taken his time to really hone his skills. I really don't think there's really something for him there as far as being a title contender.
Before we end this, I got some news. I don't know if y'all know Aaron Pico.
Yep.
Aaron Pico signed with the UFC. This is different compared to MVP and Patricio Pitbull and Michael Chandler and all that, because Aaron Pico is, I don't even think, in the peak of his career. He is a young talent, a all-around fantastic mixed martial artist. I can't wait to see who they pair him up with, because I know the Evolov fight was rumored, but a trustworthy source said that's not going to happen, which I'm happy, because I thought that would be so disrespectful to Evolov. But I think that adding him in the featherweight division, since Ilya, Max, and Brian Ortega are now at the lightweight division, I think it is a brilliant move from the UFC. Do y'all know who the guy is? And if so, do y'all have any thoughts about that?
Yeah, he's one of those freaking jackrabbits from Bellator. He really started
Yeah.
super young when they signed him, and he was really
18.
reckless. Yeah, really, really reckless. If you don't know, he got like a quick early win, and then he would get knocked out 2 straight before he finally decided to settle his career and make himself a lot more crisper fighter. Now, when you really want to talk about that, he's 28 now, so that's 10 years after his debut with Bellator and stuff like that. He has really not fought real competition, to be fair.
Yeah.
He has gotten the real slow grind, kind of like the Patty run. That's what they kind of gave him in Bellator. So if he gave him Evolov, oh my God, he's dead. I'm sorry, respectfully. I would rather give him a guy in the top 25, top 20, because he's 28. You don't really have to like really rush him right away. If you really want to showcase him, cool, give him a top 20 guy, and then he can make his way to the top 15. But giving him a guy that like Evolov, who's in the rank 4 in the division, that's no, please don't do that to him. Like respectfully, give him some showcase fights. Treat him like you treated Patty. Let him work his way up slowly for sure. Don't rush him. There's no need. He's 28. No need to rush him.
You got any thoughts on, or you know who Aaron Pico is, Chad?
Don't know who he is, but he's a Bellator guy, and I have no respect for him.
No. I knew you were gonna go there. Okay, chill, dude.
You know what you could do? I know he's fighting this weekend, but if Dan Ige loses, that's a good start for Aaron Pico.
I was gonna say that. Yeah, I agree. 100%. 100%. If he does lose, because Dan Ige, which I don't think is a disrespectful thing to say, with the what is it called? What do they call the people that test the new guys? Gatekeeper, right?
Yeah, that's a gatekeeper as far as for some guys, yeah.
Yeah. So being called a gatekeeper, I don't think is as disrespectful as some people make it seem. And I think Dan Ige, especially if he loses to Sean Woodson, can definitely be the gatekeeper. And it's a good challenge for anybody that thinks they're going to be in a top 15, top 10 predicament in the featherweight division. Okay. And also, I don't know if y'all saw this. I saw it on 2 different occasions. It could be false news, but I mean, both of these typically don't do that. Bilal Muhammad unfollowed the Habib gym and all of that. So what that maybe can mean is Islam is expecting to go up in weight and try to get
Oh.
double champ status, which is cool, but also kind of deflating for everybody that wanted to see Ilya and Islam, the 2 best fighters in MMA.
Nah, man. If you're gonna give John Jones ducking allegations, you're gonna give it to Islam too.
Nah, you can't do that. You can't do that.
Ilya vacated his
nobody.
title when he
Right.
didn't need to, and
Mhm.
gave you true intentions of what he wants to do. And Islam knows that. So if Islam decides he wants to go up, he's running.
Right. I would not say that. That doesn't correlate. He's been saying he wants to be double champ. So he's been saying that before Ilya
Yeah,
said he was going to relinquish.
but welterweight has contenders, lightweight has contenders.
Who? What's his? Who's fighting for the
Shavkat,
belt? Jack. Shavkat, yeah.
Shavkat. Yeah, those
Jack
are contenders right now.
Jack
Well,
shouldn't.
Jack's there because Shavkat's injured.
Yeah.
So,
Okay.
but Shavkat's right there next. Like, you're gonna take away Shavkat's title shot for freaking Islam?
Right. That's fair.
Like, let's wait until these guys don't have contenders. And same with the lightweight division. Ilya's right there. I do think Charles Oliveira is rightful to get a title shot if they want to give it to him. Like, come on, do it when you don't have challengers.
I would say if
you're gonna move up, then I guess vacate it. Vacate it. The same way Ilya did it for you.
They would have to. He would have to vacate it. He can't be double champ. I don't think Dana wants that anymore.
No, that's what I said. Like you said, like his dream was always be a double champ. Well, it's gonna ruin.
Yeah, my bad. Yeah. So not that he just wants to go up and get another belt so he can have.
He wants to fight Alex Pineda. I get it. Like heavyweight title.
No, he doesn't.
He wants Alex to win it back.
I actually don't think that would be no. You would think I think Islam would just run through him. I don't think that. He's too big. Alex is big, dude. I don't think Islam's that good. Yeah, there's weight classes for a reason, for sure. I think he could, but I don't think no, I wouldn't bet no money on that. And I don't think, I wouldn't bet that. That would be a crazy bet.
I feel like you bet it.
I'd probably bet it. You're right. Right now, I'm being modest and humble, but if that actually did happen, yeah, I get a paprika. You know what that is? The little hat. Yep. I get a white paprika, and I'm getting on the show, and we'll talk about it. So we'll do. You could get the face paint and the Indian stuff. You know,
oh my god,
headgear. Boom, that'll be a perfect show, dude. Just saying.
No. I was hoping Pat McAfee would announce Aaron Rodgers freaking signed with the Steelers on his little live show thing today, but I guess not. Oh well,
that's wacky. Well, y'all got any UFC things y'all want to discuss before we close it?
I'm good for now.
Hands. I wish I was listening to when y'all were talking about Merab and Sean, but I think we all kind of agree on how that might go. But that's for another show. Merab
stole his jacket, he stole his belt, and he's gonna steal another win.
He made him humble. So Merab's
stupid. He took O'Malley off the drugs. He took him off the weed.
Did he? I don't think he did.
That's what Sean said. That's what Sean said. He's like no longer doing all that stuff. That he doesn't play video games late.
No weed, no games, no porn.
Really?
Yeah. Okay, no Sanchez. Now he's gonna stay with one girl instead of
no, he's not. No, he's lying. No,
just his baby mama.
He didn't say that. He didn't say that.
That's what he said. That's what he said. I mean, it was April 1st, but I mean, still.
Okay, all right.
It wasn't April 1st.
I'll say Merab is a professed Orthodox Christian. He brought him to Orthodoxy. Shout out.
You think he did that with Umar too?
Okay, definitely Muslim. Definitely not. No, that ain't gonna happen. That's unfortunate. I don't know.
Oh shit.
But appreciate everybody being there. Jose, close us out. If you don't, you got the best close out there. I don't.
I attempt to. It is what it is. But guys, don't follow us our personal pages. Chad doesn't like it. Okay, you leave Chad alone. He likes his own personal time. He likes to do what he wants to do on his own page.
Mhm.
But you follow him here on the People's Debate
Please
on
do.
Puro Pinche Sports. Subscribe to the channels. Give the likes to the videos. All that good stuff. Don't forget to go to the People's Debate. Check out, their show right now it's bi-weekly, but
Yeah.
Wednesday nights. Check out the People's Debate. Check out Ninth Inning Stretch on Sundays now. Check out Puro Pinche Sports on Tuesdays. And be sure to follow us when Bell to Bell is on, because we are gonna knock your socks off. We are the Marab team here.
Okay, hey, man, hey, it was going good. I was giving you props. Like, don't forget the ding ding, and then you brought Marab. Goodness gracious. Machine.
But don't
Shout out to
forget,
Marab.
guys, give all the love to this weekend. Enjoy the fight. Stay safe
Please.
with your friends and family. Enjoy the times. We are Bell to Bell. Ding, ding.